All right, here's a video where we're gonna put a file on the engraver and give it a run. So I'm turning on the machine. It's going to initialize. So it's gonna move itself into the back right corner. Okay, give it a second. Okay, we are gonna be inserting our USB stick here into the front. That houses our file. And then to get the file on the machine, you're going to hit File. Okay. We need to move the cursor over here and bring the cursor all the way down to where it says U-Disk. So I hit Over, and then I'm going to go up instead of down. I'll get there quicker. I just hit up a few times. I get to where it says U-Disk, and then I'm going to hit Enter to choose that. Now I have a few options. There's no files here. I have to tell it to read the U-Disk. Think of U-Disk for USB. And then it goes and reads it. And then I'm going to come down here and pick a file. Okay, now this one I've actually already copied to memory, but you would highlight it. I don't have to press enter. I just leave the cursor on it, and then I come back to the right and say copy to memory. You press enter, and it says name overlap because I already had it on there. So otherwise it'll say successful, and then it says press escape. So I would escape out a couple times, and then it would take me back to my file screen. Normally, if I hadn't already had that file on there, it would put it right here in the top spot. Now, though, it's just back to the first file. But if I hit up, okay, it'll loop back to the bottom of the list, and I should find that file. So it's a 25 tooth gear that we did in period 5 as an example. So if this is the file I want to run, I leave the cursor on it, right, and I just press enter to select. It gives me a little preview. Okay, now the next two buttons I'm going to be using, but we'll show the engraver, is going to be origin and frame. So hitting frame first, you can see what's going to happen. The engraver is going to move in a little square or rectangle to kind of show me the overall width and depth here on the platform and basically where it's going to do it. Well, the machine doesn't know where the material is. It can't see that. So I have to use the arrow keys on the pad, jog the machine around, and I'm going to have to give it a starting place. Now I'm trying to use up some scrap wood too here. So I wonder, the top right corner is set to be the origin on the program that we used. So if I get it to a place that I want to start, I will hit origin to teach it this position, and then I will hit frame, and it'll show the space it needs there. So that's going to go off the screen a little bit, right? So let's try this. I brought it down a little bit. And because this is round, it's not actually going to go into that corner. I think I can run it right here. Okay, so I've taught the machine a location to come run this program. The other thing that you have to know is that the distance between the nozzle and the material has to be at the right distance so that the laser beam is in focus when it hits. This little piece right here is a sensor that measures or can detect when this material is brought up to it. So if we hit autofocus, let's show that on the screen. Okay, where it is. Right here. It just says focus, not autofocus, but you hit focus. The machine's going to prompt. It says, are you sure you want to do this? You'll have to say yes by pressing enter. So let me come back here before I do it. And what's going to happen is the platform is going to raise, okay, until the material touches that sensor. It'll sense the touch, and then it'll bring it back down to the correct height. And at this height, the laser beam should be in focus. Okay, so now we're ready to run our program. In order to run this program, the lid needs to be closed. And I need to flip a switch on the back here. Right now we've got a power strip magnet at the back that has a blower, a compressor, and a water chiller all connected. So when we turn this on, we're turning all three of those things on. We would want to vent it outside. So we have a hose that we'll have that runs out the window. And then we will press a green button over here. That will be our start button. Okay? So that is the button we'll be pressing. And that'll start the program. This little program's just making this little gear as a sample, and it's etching on a little text that says 25T. There it is.